Well, hello there. This is Grandpa Lance from Grandpa Lance's blog. Today I'd like to go over, not so much as a tutorial, but more as a demonstration of Celemony's Melodyne. It's a fine piece of software that I personally use to write songs. That is, I move things around, since I'm not a great vocalist, to create melodies. Now, but today I'm going to be using it to do some changes or some edits on a vocal of a song that I've been working on for Steve LaHood. He's a great singer, although he was in a hurry when he sang this song, so I have to make some changes on what he did. Now, before I get going on that, let me go ahead and just play you what the section I need to work on.
Why don't you ever see a crazy girl quit calling me? And I've got a new one to kiss and tell. So quit calling and get back up on the shelf.
Okay. You can see that it sounds fine, but to my ear there's some things that can be improved. So what I want to do right now is go ahead and knock the harmony out and some of the pre-recorded and go ahead and go to lead vocal. Now, Melodyne can be opened inside of just about any DAW or digital audio workstation that's out on the market right now. So I'm going to go ahead and open that and put it in the insert section. Now you want to have Melodyne come into any chain prior to any sort of effects. That is distortion, even compressors can give it some problems. So I went ahead and did that. Now, as you can see, there's nothing here inside of Melodyne. Now, what Melodyne will do is it will pull the audio into its interface. So let me go ahead and replay this so we can get this inside of Melodyne.
Why don't you ever see a crazy girl quit calling me? And I've got a new one to kiss and tell. So quit calling and get back up on the shelf. Up on the shelf.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and let Melodyne go ahead and draw that in. Now, as you can see, let me go ahead and pull up the notation portion of this. Alright, as you can see, these are the notes that Steve sang in that part. Now, in Melodyne, the first thing I usually do is I want to make sure that most of these notes are where they should fall. Melodyne does a pretty good job of putting them where they need to be. However, due to the nature of way audio works, sometimes things get misplaced, so to speak. Like here, I definitely believe those are misplaced. And Melodyne will actually kind of give you an indication by putting a white or a clear ghost note to where it assumes that there could be another note. Alright, so it looks pretty good at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and go a little further. Alright, let's go ahead and make these notes a little bigger. Alright, now as you can see here in the notation, it's showing this to be in the key of E minor. Now, if I remember correctly, I had asked Steve if this song was actually in G major or E minor, and he indicated to me that he believed that he was actually singing and playing the song in E major. So, Melodyne allows you the opportunity to change the key that it's attempting to recognize. So, I mean, over here you have your scale, and each of these letters indicates a portion of the scale. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, and as you can see, it's showing that you have several choices. I'm going to go ahead and pick E major because that's what he believed he was singing in. Alright. Now as you can see, this changes the key signature over here, and it also changes what these notes are indicated as. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in here. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and mute out, or at least bring down in volume, some of the parts. I'm going to go ahead and bring down the volume on the guitars a little bit. And I'm going to bring down the volume on the drums a little bit too. And without, yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and give that a shot and see what we've got here. Alright.
Why don't you ever see a crazy girl? Quit calling.
Alright. So the first thing I want to do is take a look at the first few notes. Now, based on what the notation is showing, that this is falling where it should be. However, I'm not really particularly happy with the vibrato that seems to be going on here, as you can see. Let me go ahead and give you the first way you can work with this kind of thing. You can either use the pitch tool and change the modulation, which modulation usually indicates it has something to do with vibrato. Alright, let's see how that sounds.
Don't you?
Sounds a little flat, so let me go ahead and undo that. And let's try doing it not so drastic.
Why don't you ever?
It sounds a little harsh to me, but we're going to come back to that. So we'll go ahead and go to the next note. Now you can see Melodyne is showing this as being out of tune with the scale that it's indicated as. It's showing that you've got a bunch of D naturals and a D natural that seems to be really outside of where a natural should fall. So let's go ahead and tinker with this a bit. Now you can move these things at half step and full step intervals. However, I have a tendency to try and go ahead and use the cents. There's 100 cents to a step. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and move it to right on the D natural. No, I'm not. I'm going to actually try and bring that up to the D sharp. And I'm going to leave this one, bring this one down, this note, which is indicated as looks like a B. And go ahead and bring it down closer to the B, because it's showing it's a little out of where it should be. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this one up to a D sharp also. Alright, let's go ahead and play that.
Why don't you ever see?
Okay, this note, what you can do with this note, first thing, it looks like he's trying to slide into the note above it. Now, when you have this kind of situation, there are several ways to attack it. You can attack it this way by cutting the note up, which is what I'm going to do first. And there's another cut there. And I'm going to go ahead and... I'm not sure this cut here is going to be a good choice, but I'm going to go ahead and do it just as an example of what you can do. Right. Now, as you can see, this is still on the D natural. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up to a D sharp. And if it doesn't start right there, then we're going to have to put it back.
Why don't you ever see?
That is way wrong. So, let's go ahead and undo it. and go ahead and pull it down the opposite direction. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm having a little cold problem today. Once this is moved, let's go ahead and play this and see where this is at this point.
Why don't you ever see?
Okay, this note probably should be trailing up. Let's go ahead and move that one up to, well, let's put it right there. And let's see if this is what Steve intended.
Why don't you ever see? I'm crazy.
And it looks like this particular note he's trying to go up also. So let's go ahead and pull that one up to here, which is going to bring it let's hear.
Why don't you ever see? I'm crazy.
And as you can see, that's pretty much what he intended. Now, I'm not real happy with the vibrato on this one, so let me go ahead and make a few tweaks on it.
Why don't you ever see? I'm crazy, girl.
Yeah, that's much better. Much, much better. So you get the gist of what Melodyne is capable of as far as minor tweaks on pitch and vibrato. There are a few other things that you can do with this. I'm not sure this next portion is going to be able to let me do that, but let me go ahead and play it and see what we have.
Girl, why don't you ever see? I'm crazy, girl.
Well, we can go ahead and mess with it. He's where he's supposed to be, but let me go ahead and show you what I mean by this. You can actually move where the note lands. Like, for instance, I can have this note land actually on the beat. Now let's go ahead and play it and see what it sounds like.
I'm crazy, girl.
Well, I'm going to have to actually move this one too to make it right.
I'm crazy, girl.
I'm going to have to stretch that even further, I guess. But you get the gist of where I'm going with this, is that you can actually move the note to different places to fit your melody better.
I'm crazy, girl.
Obviously that's not going to work at all, so let's go ahead and undo what we've done here. And put this back to where it was supposed to be. Alright. So you can see that you can move the notes around a bit, and you can change the pitch of them, and you can also change the vibratos. You can also change the amplitude of some of these notes. When I say amplitude, I mean that is how loud these notes appear. Let's go ahead and play this section.
Girl, quit calling me.
Let's just go ahead and bring that quit up a little bit and see.
Quit. I'm crazy, girl. Quit calling me.
So it also you can also use this to as a substitute in a sense for a compressor, a more direct compressor. That is, you can actually change certain portions without affecting any other portion as far as making them louder or softer. which is nice. And there's also the other function, which I have yet to really get to work in a way that I think is valid. I've heard people who have done it and make it sound really nice, although I'm not one of those people. I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot here on this section, but full disclosure, I have yet to get this to work well for myself.
You crazy girl, quit calling me.
Well, let me go ahead and fix that note first, because it kind of bothers me. And I'm kind of anal that way, which is an unfortunate thing. Yeah, let's put it there.
Girl, quit calling me.
Anyway, the portion that I was trying to get across to you is that you can actually change the format of this note, or these notes. That is, you can bring it down so it's a little lower sounding voice. It doesn't change the note, but it does.
Girl, quit calling me.
Alright, so you can tell that it's a little bit lower sounding.
Call.
Bring it this way and it's going to end up sounding like Donald Duck, but you can get the gist.
Girl, quit calling me.
Which is a nice function. Okay, so Melodyne is a nice tool for editing vocals. When that person is a good singer, but makes a few errors in pitch or vibrato or timing, it's easy to fix those things with Melodyne. It's also fairly easy to fix really big errors, which, as a singer, I know I make quite a few errors in my singing that I did not intend, and I can fix them later. The ideal scenario is for have that vocalist come back in and sing those parts again. Someone Steve's age or my age, it may be 6 months, maybe a year before you get back over to do these parts. So Melodyne gives you the opportunity to actually fix these parts while the singer is away, or the guitarist. And speaking of guitarists, Melodyne's not just limited to vocals. Melodyne's real power became, or noticed, when people realized that you could actually do polyphonic changes to music. Before that time, there were some pieces of software that would do kind of what Melodyne does. Not as well as Melodyne does it, but there was software out there. There was software out there that would do it. Let me go ahead and give you an example of what I'm talking about. This is a guitar part. Let me go ahead and close out the vocals so you don't hear those. This is a guitar part of Steve's song that he played. Once again, as I said before, you want Melodyne to be the first effect inside of the chain, so it's not affected by amplification or distortion or delays. All right, let me go ahead and put this inside of Melodyne. Back to the guitar part. Pull up the notation view. Alright. As you can see, this is in fact in the key of E major based on the guitar part. As you can see, this is the guitar part that was put into Melodyne. Let's go ahead and put it back to where Actually recorded it. And as you can see, it looks like all the notes are fairly close in tune, which really isn't all that surprising. Now, there are some things you can do here with the chords. I'm going to go ahead and do something drastic or really off the wall. I'm going to go ahead and move these notes here and see what this sounds like. So as you can see, you can actually change what your chords are with Melodyne. Let's go ahead and move these. Let's see. So it's a nice tool to repair errors. It's also a nice creative tool to make changes to parts, chordal parts, that you can do when the artist is not around or able to come back in and fix things. It's also nice to fix a guitar that seems to be out of tune a little bit. Let's go ahead and double click this and put these exactly in tune, these particular notes. It also is telling as to the necessity of having Let's go ahead and solo that out so you can actually hear just the guitar without the bass going on. I like to use group tracks for that particular reason. It does make things easier when you're doing these kind of things. That is editing. Editing is an important function in getting nice recordings. Yeah, I'm still hearing some other parts. Let's go ahead and kill that one. Let's go ahead and do what we did before and see what that sounds like. Now you don't just have to do single notes. You can actually do entire chords and move those around. And they sound pretty good. So Melodyne's a nice tool to edit. It's an even better tool for writing parts, vocals, melodies that you wouldn't come up with just hand performing them. That is, singing the part or actually playing the part. Which really opens up some creative possibilities. Let me go ahead and undo that. Wrong one. So this has been Grandpa Lance at Grandpa Lance's blog. I strongly suggest that you go ahead and step over to Celemony's website, and I believe they still have a demo version. I couldn't tell you anything about how long it works and how the functionality of that demo is. But just go ahead and do it, download it, see if it works for what you plan on using it for. It's a piece of software that's well worth the money you spend for it. So anyway, this has been Grandpa Lance at Grandpa Lance's blog. See you again soon.